If you watched my road review, you would know that I found the Focus RS to be much more exciting. Now I think that we can agree that the Golf is the much more compliant daily driver and potentially the better all-around package. It is the nicer interior and the better ride. But personally, I care about driver engagement. So my plan is to give these two a fair whooping on the track to see which one really brings the thrills. Now I am going to focus on the driving experience and the car's dynamics, and then a special guest is going to set some lap times. Welcome to Toronto Motorsports Park, Ontario's premier drag strip and driver development track. This is a very big facility, and it's where I first cut my teeth in proper track driving. It's where I bring my own car to test mods and practice driving technique. So it's a great spot to find the best and the worst of each of these cars.
Now the reason that I've chosen this track is because it has a little bit of everything. We've got high-speed corners, low-speed corners, some straightaways so you can use the horsepower. But the thing that I like about it most of all is that there's nothing to hit, which is important for someone driving someone else's $50,000 hatchback. So I'm going to put these cars through their paces on the racetrack, but first we're going to go to the drag strip. Now obviously I need another driver to drive the other car. So I'm happy to announce a brand new partnership with the Pinnacle Advanced Driving Academy. Next year they're going to be doing track days here, introducing driving enthusiasts to the world of performance driving and motorsports. But in the meantime, they've loaned me a racing driver.
He asked that I keep his identity a secret and alter his voice, because he doesn't want his employer to know that he's moonlighting as a driver for Pinnacle Driving Academy and now reviews with TH. But I still wanted to know more about him, so I asked him a few questions, and I'll be honest, he seemed a bit arrogant.
So you can't tell me who your employer is?
No.
Do you race cars?
Can't tell you.
Do you race karts?
Can't say that either.
Are you a fast driver?
Yes.
Are you faster than me?
Yes.
Let's find out. And crackles and the exhaust explodes and you just rocket off the line. Very much like a GTR, actually. Well, I lost. There you go. All the Golf fanboys are jumping up and down right now.
Now because science, we swapped cars, and in the Golf, I still lost. So that tells you with the manual Golf anyway, these cars are close enough on the straightaway that it comes down to the driver. But now, of course, it's time to see which one is better at bringing the smiles on the track.
I have an open racetrack. I have a Volkswagen Golf R, and we're going to see just how fun this thing actually is. All right, straight away. 130, 140, 150, 160, 170. Woo! Yeah, it's rotating. If you lift off at the right time, it will rotate. I can feel the front diff constantly working to pull me back in. I like the downshifts. Nice gurgle from the engine when you do that too. Apex. Apex, I can feel it just pulling me towards the apex.
Well, that was impressive at first. I found that it eventually clouded the driving experience a bit.
It's still, you know what, it's still doing a lot of work for me. Like a lot. Even with everything turned off, I don't think I can turn any more off than I have turned off right now, so I'm just trying to experience the car as it is. But there's a constant sense of the car kind of wanting to wash. Now, if you drive it within the limits of what it can do, This is a really good car, like a very, very good car. For all you Volkswagen guys out there that gave me a hard time for my road review, here, this is for you. I like this, I'm having fun. That could have a lot to do with the fact that I have my own racetrack right now, but I'm still having a good time in this car. I thought that I would be going out of this and then running back to the Focus to give that a go.
As I pushed the Golf R more and more, I really started to notice its strengths and its flaws.
When you really load up the steering, it feels much better. Okay, I've got significant weight through the corner. It's actually kind of numb in terms of feedback, but it's weighting up well. Yeah, right, yeah, I can feel a distinct heaviness under load. And then when you start to feel the understeer build right there, I don't get that much communication of the understeer. I'm actually getting more from my ears, hearing the tires start to chatter in the front, and then the feeling in my back of not going towards the apex.
And that, for me anyway, robbed some of the fun from it.
Down to second. If I stand on the gas, it understeers. I can't get that back to go under throttle at all. I can go here and then lift off. Yeah, and then we slide. That's fun. That, don't get me wrong, that's fun. But it reminds me of a front-wheel drive car. Yeah, there. See, I can get the tail to go a little bit. It's very front-wheel drive in its behavior. I do very much like the power delivery. You don't really notice that much turbo lag, to be honest. It has a really nice sound, a very refined sound. It's not a super exciting sound. It just sounds good. It sounds very, very German. It sounds very much like my BMW in terms of nice growl, shift, growl again. It's nice. 170. Woo! Roll the brakes. Down to third. All right, lifting off. There goes tail. Yeah. It's fun. I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Can't really complain. Golf R on a racetrack. It's a good day so far. So again, the first thing I noticed right after literally getting out of the Golf R, stepping into this and driving away, is that everything feels sharper. No matter what you say, no matter what you try and convince me of, this is a sharper car. The throttle response, the clutch, the steering, the suspension, the handling, the weight transfer, everything is more immediate, more aggressive. So I have it in track mode. I'm gonna try that first. This makes everything pretty much as rock solid and responsive as we possibly can make it, which means that the ride is terrible. There's a few bumps in this track. This is a very, very smooth racetrack. There's a few spots that go up, 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 and you feel it way more in this than you do in the Golf. Oh my God, it turns in so fast. That is an exciting feeling that just simmers through your arms. You turn in and you just get this massive front end kick, and it just goes right in towards the apex. Actually quicker than you think it should. Yeah, well, I had to back off a little bit. Downshift into second. Hard on the gas. Yep. The back comes around a little bit there under power. And there goes the back under power. Woo! This is an awesome car. Yep, it's more fun than the Golf. Hard braking. Third gear. Turn in. Apex, yep, there it is. Catches. Oh! Just a little four-wheel slide all the way out to the exit. So far in my life, I think this might be one of the most impressive cars that I've driven on a track. There goes the tail. Down into second. There goes the tail. There goes the tail. Oh man, it's just there. It just does exactly what you want it to, right when you want to do it. The steering is very, very, very sharp, and there is tons of feel, and there's a lot of feedback too. When you start to get that front end chatter of the understeer as it builds, you can feel it vibrating through the steering wheel. you feel it catch and pull and catch and pull and catch and pull and catch and pull. And then you can pull off a little bit on the lock to try and straighten it out, lift off the gas, let the front dig back in, and off you go. That makes it easier to drive it fast.
I was very impressed, but I did find one or two issues.
Yeah, I wish that in race mode it was a little bit more planted. Damping wise, it's very, very bouncy. That would be my biggest gripe about it, I think.
Though the torque vectoring in all-wheel drive is more advanced than the Golf's, it still had its issues.
Yeah, sometimes you can feel the front end kind of get confused as to what it's doing. It doesn't happen in every corner. It depends on how you set it up for the corner, but occasionally with a little bit of a bump, it upsets it. It tries to do something with the torque vectoring, and it kind of ruins the line through the corner. But that could be fixed with a better driver. So I'm gonna go right ahead and say it. If you're looking for a really hot hatchback, an all-wheel drive hot hatchback, I can tell you that there are some sacrifices that you do make with the Focus, but it's so worth it. I said this in my last film. It's so worth it. The way that it feels, how balanced it feels in the corners, this is the one you want. This is an easier car to drive fast. I am very excited to see what my Pata racing driver is going to do with these. I've got a feeling we're going to see the RS do a faster lap. Now I know everybody will be wanting to see me do drift mode, but tires are expensive. I'll put it in drift mode, and I'll kind of show you what the car feels like. It softens everything up, actually. Immediately I can feel it leans a little bit more in the corners. It's not so jostling over the bumps. It's so that it can dial in the amount of grip in the front and the back to give you that perfect angle. So I'm going to show you just how easily the rear comes out. When it locks those rear diffs, we've got 70% of the torque heading to the rear. That's enough to get the tires spinning and do power oversteer. I can get the Golf to oversteer by lifting off. That's lift off oversteer. That's different. This is power oversteer. That's the fun one, in case you didn't know. Right. Yep, sliding sideways. Turn in on the power, I'm sideways. Turn in, stand on the throttle, and I'm sideways. God, you could be a complete idiot and drift this thing. Yeah, it lets go of the tail so easily for a car that has Cup 2s on it. Stand on the gas and sideways. That's it. Yep, this is awesome. Love this car. Let's give it to the racing driver, see what he can do.
So let's take a look at the Golf R first. So our racing driver went out and did repetitive hot laps until he set a time that he was satisfied with. You will see the fastest lap of each here. Remember, this Golf has Michelin Pilot Super Sports, which is quite an upgrade over stock, which will make it a very close match to the RS. Let's find out. A 124.5. Not bad. Let's see what the Focus RS can do in the same conditions with the same driver. A 123 dead. The Focus edged the Golf by a 1.5 second margin, which is a fairly significant amount on a track of this size. The racing driver told me this was due to stickier tires and a better all-wheel drive system that staved off the understeer. Overall, it turns out that the Volkswagen Golf R and the Ford Focus RS are very closely matched on the drag strip and on the road course. However, when it comes to pounding around on a back road or on the track, the Focus RS is simply a more exciting car to drive. Now, most of you will convince yourself to buy the more comfortable and practical car, the more sophisticated car, and I won't fault you for that. But if I was going to buy one of these, I think I would embrace my inner child and choose the RS.